Hey guys, this is Lauren Productions, aka on the 4673, and this is Reverie Ebon Light. I have so many mixed feelings inside me right now. First of all, last part of Bahadur's story is coming, albeit a little slower than I might have thought before, since the files got corrupted. All the 1.5 hour left of gameplay that I had recorded for it, they got corrupted. So I'm gonna have to go through the entire thing again at some point. So yeah, but it is coming. I am finishing that series up, so no worries. Anyway, that's kind of a bad thing. On the other hand, this is Reverie Ebon Light. This game has been in production for a while, by the lovely Underbliss, who has worked on it, and I have been following the process for a couple of years now. Maybe longer, not sure about that. 2 years probably. And I am so excited. As much as I've followed it, I don't know much about the entire story. I've deliberately held myself from the whole demo and stuff. I do have a little thing. This is the unfinished version. The finished version will come sometime in the future, not too far away from this moment, like maybe during spring. And I just couldn't wait anymore. It's been out for a little bit now, and I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. I've been waiting so long, and I just had to start, and I had to do it now. So this is a visual novel slash, I guess, otome game where you get to romance some elf boys, and I am very excited. It seems to be very good. So let's just start without any further ado. It's been so long. Oh my god, it's time. And also character customization. Would ya know it? Alright. Let's see what kind of character we should make. Name-wise, I don't know. I've been having a thing where I call people stuff after planets these days. Let's see here. Venus is a little obvious. Mercury maybe? Nah, that's a little... Jupiter? Nah. I'm not sure, maybe I should give a... I'm thinking really hard right now. You know what, actually, Venus sounds pretty good. Venus. There you go. Venus. And let's check hairstyle. Alright, so there's this. And there's that. Oh my god, I am so excited for this. You have no idea. There are no, shorter ones. So, guess I'm gonna have to make do with that. I kinda like this windswift swiped one, then this kind of, elegant one. Then I kind of dig this curly one too. I'm gonna wait with that. I'm gonna wait with that. Let's start with skin color instead. Ooh, I like the dark one. I like the all dark one too. Oh, that's cool. I don't know, man. But I also like this kind of this one. Yeah, I don't want this normal one. No, I don't want that. The beginner one. I want the old dark one, definitely. Alright, let's see here. Oh, I think I wanted to have light hair. I have something with the whole light hair, darker complexion thing. That's pretty. Oh, now I'm changing the colors again. The mouse is a little wonky, so apologies. Like this one. Let's see here. Ah, they're all so pretty. Nah, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Eye color. I don't know, I kinda like the blue one. Does it look a little too striking? Maybe we should do a dark one. Nah, fuck it, let's do this one. Alright, so we have Venus here, and she is quite beautiful, if I do say so myself. And we have to select a disposition. This is, like, there are some strategy elements embedded in this game that I'm looking very much forward to, but let's see here. So, charm, attractive and likable. Cunning, clever and observant. Tenacity, resilient and determined. Oh man, I don't know. Definitely not the charming and likable one. That's just, I don't know. I feel like that's the boring answer, but that might just be. Whenever I create characters, I always tend to make like these really gruff, kind of like tough characters. And since there are a lot of personality decisions in this game, we're gonna have to create what kind of person Venus is. And I'm going between her being like a cocky, kind of flirty person, or maybe like this very like down to business tough lady. I think I'm gonna be the down to business tough lady. Yeah, I am. Oh, she changed his expressions, so she's like, ah, and then she's like, oh, and then she's like, what the fuck? I like it. Let's do it. Oh my god, it's happening. Now, remember, this is incomplete, but I gotta do it. I can't wait anymore. There was once a tomb that buried only the living. The people who built the tomb were plagued with a terrible affliction, but before the affliction could consume them, they sealed the plague away in the body of a creature. The creature itself was kind and gentle, so very much that, in the great nobility of its heart, it had accepted its fate without complaint. But the people were afraid that one day the creature would escape from the tomb and the affliction would return. So they gathered their remaining warriors, and they made their warriors into guardians. The guardians were to swear an oath. They would guard the tomb for as long as there was need. Even should that need be endless. They entered the tomb with the creature and sealed themselves within, unaware of what they had promised. Years stretched on, and the guardians stood vigil. The affliction no longer threatened the people. And so, as people often do, they forgot. But deep, where the light could no longer reach, the warriors' conviction had begun to wane. Their vow had come with a terrible cost, and the task was simply too much to bear. For who can truly comprehend the unending? Duty had become a torment, and in time they were consumed by desperation. They yearned for light, and they despised the darkness. They longed for the glow and warmth of the sun. Soon, their desperation became rage, and then they betrayed the creature. Aw, I'm kinda sad. They clawed out of the earth. Blinded by the sun, they unleashed the forgotten affliction alongside themselves. Are you done? Oh, are you done? Yes. In Eldritch, stories are usually relished. What else is there to do with an idle mind? And what was I to take from this miserable little tale, Venus? Never trust anyone. Fools make foolish oaths. Darkness cannot be sealed away. Nothing, just passing time. This one's so dark. I kind of want to be that really skeptic one, though. Never trust anyone. Trust a roaring sea or a starving bear, but never a man or woman. I see. You have much to do, Venus. Go on, get to work. I'm just thinking it's an old woman. I don't know why. I don't know who you are, Vanya. Transitions are kinda slow. On my way into the village, I discovered that Eldrick had visitors. Oh my god, it's moving! Look at the water! Ah! Sorry. It's rare to see that in visual novels and to see outsiders here. But these men were an exception. They came just often enough that we were no longer surprised by them. Excuse me. Most of the time they kept to themselves. But even the friendliest of their numbers would grow evasive and choose words very carefully if asked too many questions. Luckily for their dislike of meddling, we disliked change. We left each other be, and that suited one another just fine. As it would happen, I was caught in a conversation with one of our visitors, Rylan, a crew member of the Serpentine, the most beautiful ship man dared dream of. Not that I have anything to compare with, nor with to disagree. New codex. Oh yeah, there's a codex, the compendium. Oh my god, I'm gonna see if I can go check it out. Let's see here. Compendium. Let's see here. Places. Eldrick. Alright, this is a very lore heavy. I'm probably not gonna be reading all of this, but a bit of it I am gonna read. Eldrick was founded in 1022 V by Calyx settlers. In 1025 V, the population rose above 50 for the first and last time, coming and going with the final wave of Calyx refugees to escape the country. Deep in the scorched forest, Eldrick naturally secluded. The village of Eldrick has no formal leadership, and the small community has manifested itself with relative peace. Alright, so it's kind of a small town. What is it? Spice, my dear. But from where? Well, I'm not sure. Well, then why should I care about it? If you can't even tell me where you got it from. I don't see how that makes any difference to you. It's not from Eldrick, then it's, if it's not from Eldrick, then it's just from Kidlair, somewhere out there. Somewhere not here. I really prefer to have at least a slight idea what I'm getting when I trade. I realize this is an eccentricity of mine, but bear with me. Oh, surely you can guess why it might be difficult for me to give you details. Why, you might be better off not knowing. And that is exactly why I want to know where it came from. I don't know if I want to be involved with whatever this is. Calm down, it's nothing that scandalous. My dear, it's just spice, and a modest amount at that. I obtained it along with a few other equally mundane trinkets. Aha. Besides, do you really care where I got it? Well, you have a point. I thought so. So, do you have a deal? Rylan wanted to trade his mystery pouch of spice for a few ramps in my pack. It was an unusual opportunity, but I had no room for frivolousness. If we had everything we foraged was accounted for, and everything lost at an empty belly. And there's Rylan to consider, of course. He's an entirely chaotic element of his own. A sailor, charming enough now, and while I've never seen him do anything suspicious, his idea of haggling is probably steal or kill. Why would we need the spices, though? Can't spare anything, I'm afraid. My aunt and I play for keeps, you know. Don't we all? Here, I'll make you an even better offer. How about that? See, now, let's see here. Well. I recaptured your interest. I assure you, you're unlikely to see anything like this ever again. I sighed. I knew then that I was hooked and defeated. Alright. Ryland turned to leave. Want to trade? Ryland. Oh, Venus, don't be greedy. But Ryland, you come so rarely. You're one of the only foreigners we ever see. You must have all sorts of things. Personally, I don't have much. I'll do you this, though. Tomorrow, I'll try to convince... Oh, God, all of the names. Tiernan to pay you and your aunt a visit. He could probably show you some things. Tiernan? Have I ever met? Likely not. I've fallen behind, Venus. Till we meet again. I didn't even get to see if they were cheaper, the spices. Oh well, probably doesn't matter. Aunt Vanya. No one answered back. Oh my god, it's animated! It's animated, guys! Our hut was humble, though I understood this was only in the way that... Though I understood this only in the way that I understood elsewhere, people kept massive fields with servants and livestock. But elsewhere was elsewhere. Here in Eltric, our hut was something to be proud of. No reason to feel shame or envy. Aunt Vanya was, in fact, very proud of our hut. But looking at it, the only thing I could see was a fence in need of mending. It had been threatening to give away for weeks. Though nothing new, it had been in one state of disrepair or the next. One state of disrepair and the next since I was a child. Let's try and fix it. I looked about for something heavy and found a rock. There was a soft rustling of leaves from somewhere behind me. What are you doing? Oh, that was Vanya. What are you doing? I wasn't doing anything yet. I just got home. Where were you? I was foraging in the east by the burned wood. Why are you home so early? I had a lucky day. Shara took all the ramps bright and early. Yeah, well, let's see if your luck holds. Switch packs with me and finish the foraging. What? That's not fair. Save your breath. I have business in the village tonight, and my back is already sore. Your back, was it? Your back is stronger than mine. I am an old woman, older by the day. You get used to... Actually, no, I don't want to take that one. What business do you have? Business? What could you possibly want in the village? You hate going to the village. We do things we hate when they're necessary, don't we? What are you going to do? I don't have time to chat, Venus, neither do you. Nor with a whole forest to forage. Yay. Oh, I love the dull tone of the backgrounds. It's just like this dark tone of the entire game. I like it. Gonna have to turn the volume a bit down now. So far, the foraging was uneventful. I had my sickle, some mostly empty packs, and a few unimpressive roots that probably should have stayed in the ground for a couple of more weeks. Oh, Jesus. Alarms. The forest was warm today. It felt nice against my skin. I had a right to complain about the added foraging, but if I was being honest, the solitude was nice enough that I was enjoying myself. But I knew the burned forest well. There was little I could find worth foraging today. Keep foraging. Perhaps it was a desire to avoid looking at my aunt's smug face when I returned home with empty packs, but I was determined to scrape from these woods as much as I could. The sun was falling, beaming through the trees. It was time to go home. What was that? I missed. Oh my god, it's lazy. Oh my god. Sorry, I do know the names of the characters. I've seen them so much on Tumblr. Who's there? Nothing answered. Oh, shh. sure I'd seen something. I ran home. When I made it home, I found Vanya gone. For once, I missed her terribly. It's not as though our hut offered much safety, not from people. Foreigners did not come to Eldrick. Venus? Aunt Vanya, what's gotten into you? There was someone in the woods. Was there? A person, a man, I think, dark clothes. A man in dark clothes? Perhaps it was Borthes. No, I called out and he didn't respond. No longer alone, I began to feel a bit calmer. I was ready to defend myself. He didn't seem to follow me home, not that I can tell. Maybe he thought better of it. I motioned to my sickle. Look at you, ready to slice a stranger in two. Proud? A little. My aunt handed me a warm cup. Here. It smells sweet. Well, don't get used to it. The sweetness lasted only a moment on the tongue. The drink had an aftertaste that was quite bitter, not unpleasant exactly, but strange. I found myself lost in effort to identify the taste. After it was all gone, I finally asked, "What did you put in it?" "Some of that spice." "Some... what? Violent spice? You just put it in my drink?" "It smelled like it would be good for it. You seem to have agreed, drank it without complaint." "But I was going to." "A hot drink always calmed me down, and this is the thanks I get." Unbelievable. A stalker, an aunt who puts unidentified spices in my drink without telling me, and an indefensible hut. I went to bed in a foul mood. I fell asleep quicker than usual. Where is it? Unfortunately, I didn't wake gently. Oh, did you say what is it? Give me a sec. No, where is it? Okay. You're going mad on me, girl. Not just yet. No, I think not. I was having a very strange dream, though. What was it about? You woke up yelling something. I don't remember. Dreams are funny in that way. What did I yell? Where is it? Everything's certainly been strange lately. I can't believe you've taken to drugging my drinks. Oh, you'll get over it. Pardon, do you think normal people do that? She gave a completely disinterested shrug. I'll be gone then. Get to your work, Venus. You're leaving. Yeah. Not much choice. Starving is the worst kind of death. She left me promptly, gone before I was even fully awake. I stared after her for a few moments and realized that I needed to go back into the forest myself. She was right. Starving is the worst kind of death. And if you don't forage today, you don't eat tomorrow. Besides, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little curious. Oh, the transitions are really slow. I'm gonna have to click them through. The woods seemed cold and unfamiliar. All sorts of wrong. I couldn't explain why it felt this way. Birds made their noises, and I hadn't seen anything unusual. I was certain it wasn't very cold, but still, a chill stuck to my bones. Each step forward I took, I regretted. I considered time and time again turning back, yet I continued forward. I was already trapped. Already in the throes of fate. Oh my god, it's lazy. Oh god, I gotta come up with a voice for him. Where is it? Oh no, not that. And then the source of my unease finally revealed itself to me. The stranger waited only a moment before repeating his question. Where is the Kufnital? The Kufnital. I couldn't do anything more than stare. Who? Where is it? Was it a man, stepped forward with his hands outstretched as though to making a grab for me. No, he definitely wasn't human. He didn't move like a human. Attack! I lifted my sickle, lunged and swung. I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd never had an occasion to attack anyone before. All that mattered was now was getting out of this situation, and I would fight tooth and nail. The man, armed with a bow, which he made no effort to retrieve, evaded my swings. He made it look easy. I swung my sickle 3 more times, each less gracefully than the time before, and each time he maneuvered out of danger. My strength began to wane, and sensing I was close to exhausting myself, I stopped swinging to reassess my situations. The stranger's face remained plain, almost patient. As easily as he avoided my swings, I had expected him to be snickering. Are you done? I realized that swinging my sickle was fruitless, and to try any longer would just spend my energy. I began to rack my mind for something clever, all while noticing that the stranger seemed to be patiently waiting for what I came up with. His patience wasn't coming from a place of kindness nor respect. It was curiosity, perhaps even the sort of amusement a cat gets when watching a bird with a broken wing. My eyes darted from tree to tree, then to the ground, then the sky. I was desperate for something brilliant, some stroke of genius, and I found nothing. When I realized this, my mind went white. I was abandoned here in this bizarre situation, defenseless. A baby bird. Gotta take a sip of water. No luck. The stranger disarmed me. Though perhaps she recognized that, what I am and decided to give up. Oh, I unlocked this one because I'm evil. Well, not evil. I know you're someone I intend to kill. Really? Well, we'll see. Yes, we will. Don't start your display just yet. I'm only barely hopeful that all your bravado will amount to anything more than foolishness, and I don't have time to put you to the test. I expect I've already seen the limit of your ability anyway. What is it that he was after? Not that I had any intention of helping him finding it. I don't know what a Confrontation is. I wasn't sure how much longer his patient was whole, but I didn't think it would last much longer. Calling it by another name. A small black pouch, decorated in ancient Galian glyphs. Galian, containing a precious marrow. A pouch. The spice I got from Rylan was in a pouch that looked a lot like what he described. Not that I knew what Galian glyphs looked like, but if I had to take a guess... I still don't know what you're talking about. Don't you? Does that mean you didn't accept the Confrontation from the other human in exchange for what I believe were vegetables? You were watching. Were you... Just how long have you been watching me? I'll make it simple, human. All I want is the Confrontation. I'm running out of time, and so are you. The Confrontation belongs to me. You have no means to challenge this, and you have no right to, so your options, lucky as you are even to have them, give me the Confrontation or die. I'm gonna die. That means it belongs to you. The Confrontation belongs to Galians. You are not Galian. I am. It is simple. You're Galian. Yes. And the Confrontation is mine. Now give me the Confrontation or show me where you've hid it. I knew little of Galians, and nothing helpful. I already deduced this man was far more dangerous than anyone else I knew, and I was out of options. Fine, but it isn't with me. Waving his arm, he seemed to be directing me towards home. Was he serious? In response, he reached forward and grabbed my arm. Despite my struggling, I was dragged along. He evidently knew the way. I'm gonna turn the music a little bit up. I waited outside while the elf went into the hut. I briefly entertained the idea of running, but along with the way I had noticed the elf's head slightly turn from noise to noise. Every bird that chirped, every branch that broke, he observed. I also noticed as we walked, while my feet crunched and cracked, whatever was underfoot, the ground beneath his feet was nearly silent. If I were to try running away, I don't think I'd get far. And I was still sporting bruises from my last go. I'd never been in a situation like this. I'd heard about the way people are outside the village. I'd heard that they were cruel and forceful, irreverent and violent. I'd heard they steal and hurt on a whim. Life was not forgiving here, nor was Vanya, but this was a different feeling. I'd never experienced it, and I'd never met anyone who wasn't human before. Yet here, the first one I meet is now plundering my home for something he claims belongs to him. And how did he get here unseen? Perhaps he had stowed away with the pirates? A stowaway? A large elf among Lalai pirates? Lalari. Jeez, there's a lot of new words. I'm probably gonna have to go through the compendium to get some knowledge. I even knew that the Lalari were known for being bigots. There was a pounding in my ear. The impulse to act was increasing with each beat of my heart. I realized this might be my last chance to change my fortune. This isn't very risky, and you do know it's a bad idea, right? But like, these two just kind of feel like giving up, you know? Feeling especially bold, I crept towards the hut. When Vanya and I had been having trouble with the foxes and wolves scavenging our stores, we began locking the door with a wooden slide. All I'd need to do to imprison the elf, at least for a little while, was close the door and insert the slide before he could stop me. As I moved closer to the hut, the plan seemed more and more insane. I picked up the slide from near the door as silently as I could, and then considered whether or not I should peek inside first to see which direction he was facing. He could barely turn around in the hut, but maybe I'd have a chance if his back was turned. Look inside first? I decided to look inside first. I saw... Without thinking, I dropped the slide. I'm sure it appeared about as convincing as a toddler dropping a cookie. The elf looked angry. Not to my surprise, he was holding a small black pouch. You found it. Outside. I'm beginning to think killing you would be an act of mercy. He stared at me for a few seconds and retrieved the black pouch from his coat. His glare hardened, so the pouch represented something. You don't seem like you're the mercy sort. The Kithintal is empty. I watched as he turned the pouch inside out and shook it in a frustrated display. That would mean Vanya used it all. I hadn't even begun to think of the implications behind eating some of what this elf was after. A part of me had been hoping Vanya hadn't actually put the spice Kithintal in my drink. What have you done with it? The elf's demand was intense and violent. I stared back in horror. How was I going to explain that I'd eaten? Answer! I watched as the elf dropped the pouch into his coat, only then to notice that he had simultaneously dragged a small dagger from his hip. Get away from that girl. I was surprised by my aunt, but the elf's gaze remained focused on me. Excuse me, water. The old woman. What's going on? You two has done something with the Kithintal. Is that the name of the spice that was in that pouch? It is not spice. It is a precious, rare, sacred mirror, and it belongs to my people. Well, it's gone. The elf's temper boiled over. His pale face grew slightly red, hot with frustration. I had the sense to take a step back, but the elf grabbed me and held the dagger to my throat. Gone. Gone where? I tried to think clearly if I was clever. She drank it. Drank it! Vanya! I told you we thought it was a spice. I clamped my eyes shut, prepared for the worst. But nothing happened. The elf had taken a step back from me and was staring at me in a curious way.
Well, that's it then.
Yes, I suppose so. What? Though she hid well, I could tell that Vanya was surprised that the elf had agreed. So much for history and its offerings. Couldn't believe this elf was so easily satisfied. He'd been so obsessed with the Cathintel and to find out it was gone that I drank it, and then we're leaving.
We? You're not taking the girl anywhere.
Oh, I am. She drank the Confrontation, and the Confrontation belongs to us. She belongs to us.
What asinine logic! You didn't want the spice eaten. If you didn't want the spice eaten, you should have kept it closer to home.
It was not. He waved his hand. You don't have a choice in this. If you didn't want to be subject to the demands of your betters, you would have made yourself stronger. Or perhaps you would have avoided fumbling into history that doesn't belong to you.
How do you even know we told the truth? You're ready to just abandon...
I think it makes as much sense as anything. In this deplorable village, she didn't smuggle it anywhere I would have seen. I searched that hut of yours through and through. You don't get in my way. I could tell that Vanya wasn't going to back down easily. She seemed calm, but I knew her better than that. I also knew that my aunt was likely to achieve anything beyond getting herself hurt. Yeah, well, we do love our aunt, like, even if we are a little tough. Vanya, it's alright.
The elf wants to drag you off to his cave.
It'll be alright. We need to go, now. Alright, elf, I'll go with you. I know. He wasted no time leading me away. Walking through the forest with an elf at my heel felt like a death march. He hadn't said a word since we'd begun walking. I didn't choose to break the silence myself either. The elf followed from a slight distance, only stepping forward to nudge me in a different direction every now and then. I could tell we weren't heading into the village, but that we were heading towards the coast. Stay silent. I felt no desire to speak with the elf. What more was there to be said anyway? Another exchange where I say I don't want to go and he says you have no choice. I preferred the silence. This way. This time, instead of nudging me in a new direction, the elf had moved through the trees and called behind me to follow. I stopped walking and stared where the elf had disappeared to. I sent a look over my shoulder and began to consider. What was that? There was a strange noise nearby. And then, only for a moment, I saw the shape of another figure darting through the trees. Were there more? Human! The fear, that whoever else was out there might be worse than the elf. I already had pushed me forward. Elf didn't answer, but he was moving fast, and I was losing sight of him. Where are we going? To the bastion. Looks like we've made it just in time after all. What is the bastion? A ship. And you expect me to be on that ship? You will be on that ship. This is dangerous. I am not setting foot on that ship, not alive. Oh, do me credit. I don't have to kill you to get you on that ship. Aren't you getting bored of this exchange yet? Besides, if you were going to dig in your heels, then why come this far? You didn't give me much choice. Ha. And the situation is different now. I tried to piece together what little information I had. I tried to remember any time anyone had referenced Galian in the past. I can remember anything. When the coast appeared, I immediately spotted the ship. It wasn't a serpentine. Which I had once thought to be the largest ship in the world. Indeed, this ship was somehow larger. On the beach not far from us were dozens of elves, just as pale, sullen-faced, and dark-clad as the one who found me. You and I made good time. I thought we were going to be late. The elf sounded pleased in a bored sort of way. Stay put. You'll board shortly. Leave a basket or have some children, or whatever it is you humans do. I watched the elves a little while longer, but the longer I did, the more surreal it became. I tried to imagine where we were in relation to my village, how far north we must have been so that no one would have seen the elves' massive ship. Surely someone in the village must have seen one of these elves. And what were they doing? The elves were everywhere, an infestation that had gone completely unnoticed. I was sitting on the beach somewhere north of the village I'd lived my whole life, but I was surrounded by strange beings, and they were threatening to take me away to their strange land. What's more, I felt utterly exhausted. My mind had been running, my heart racing. No, I was beyond exhaustion now. I would have thought to feel restless and jumpy, keenly aware, but that wasn't the case. A thought kept clouding my mind. Yeah, I was just about. The marrow I'd consumed. I didn't feel sick, only weary, but if all the elves were here for the thing I drank, what would that mean? Had I poisoned myself? As the sun set, my worries began to fade. Though it lasted only for a few moments, between the strange weariness and the rosy sky, I felt comforted, pacified. The last comfort before the slaughter, the last pulse of warmth before the freeze. Human. It's Venus. We're leaving. Perhaps the calm I felt scrounged up a desire for dignity because I realized I wanted to call my captor by his name. I wouldn't be abducted and tormented by a man whose name I didn't even know. What is your name? Why do you want to know? Are you hoping to be friends? I would like to know the name of the elf who brought me here. Sigurd Dahal, first scout of the Galilean forces. I was a little surprised he told me his name in a bizarre way. I was surprised he'd even had one. This all felt a little too much like a dream. Get moving, human. Move quickly. My name is Venus. I'm not the one who asked for introductions. Wondering who will remember you? Oh! Oh! It kinda doesn't fit into my character, but I really want to call him Lazy. I'm gonna call him Lazy. Fine then. Lazy. Excuse me? Voice like lace. Only seen it twice before. Shepherd's wife had a lace shirt. It's so pretty and delicate. Do you have any idea how easily I could kill you? So you keep saying. Okay, actually kind of fit. Oh my god, it's a ship and it's moving. Well, I might as well have been walking into another world. Aboard the Galilean ship, I got a few odd looks from the elves. They were all pale as Lazy, all wore dark armor, and all seemed to have dark hair. Their looks never lingered. For whatever anomaly I was, I must not have been that remarkable. They moved with purpose, diligent, efficient, unwilling to be distracted. Lazy had followed me. You're gonna call him Lazy? Thank you so much. I love it. Sorry. Lazy had followed me to the deck, staying behind me at an increasing distance. I even lost sight of him between the crowds on occasion, but I suppose he wasn't concerned. Where was I going to go? I tried to move out of the elves' way as best I could, but I seemed to be making something of an obstruction. So I tried to stand still. The elves moved around me. Alright. Cute. There you are, Lasiga. I heard the name of my escort and looked to the woman who spoke it. She was marching towards me. Commander. I hadn't realized Lazy had caught up to me until I heard his voice over my shoulder. Your little side adventure successful, I take it. If not... She gave me a long, curious look.
Then I'll demand a smuggling fee. There are proper channels if you insist on taking your lovers home. She is what Dullier wants. It's always been a bit of an odd one, hasn't he? Alright, why not? Welcome to the Bastion, human. It seemed I ought to get used to being called human. I'm Commander Calipoa. Damn it. Kelly? I'm just gonna call you Callie, okay? I'm Commander Callie Millie Rose. Commander? Does that mean you're in charge of all of this? Gigantic ship, the masses of black-clad elves, the mysterious agenda somehow involving me. Oh, no. I'm in charge of part of this. I'm also in charge of him. She motions at Lacey, sounding ever so slightly smug. I felt a surge of optimism. Are the rest of you like him? Well, in some ways, he's not at all the exception, if that's what you mean. I suggest you learn to embrace pride, arrogance, hostility, and aggression. I promise that underneath the war and bloodlust, we're all sorts of fun. Was she serious? I think so. Apparently she was serious. But a word of advice, if the Onyx Chandler wants you in his clutches, he'll find a way to have you. If you're clever, you'll figure out how to keep him from wanting you. She sighed, seeming to struggle with something. I'm really busy, despite appearances. Let me think. Can I... Perfect! Vaden! The commander seized the attention of another elf, who immediately stopped as if what he was doing and walked towards us. He suddenly looked at the commander, then his gaze fell on me. It's Vaden! Who's this? A human. Yes, Commander, I noticed, but why is everybody British? She's for the Onyx Chandler, and no, I don't know what he wants with her. I began to notice the tension in the new elf and Lacey. They stared at each other in silence for a few seconds. That was when I realized that the ship had begun to move. It was the strangest sensation, and it threw my balance just enough that I had to crouch down to steady myself. Are you alright? And here he goes. Far too easy. Come with me, Lasiga. You'll have some things to explain. Callie and Lacey left immediately, leaving me with the new elf. He held out his hand, offering it to help me with my balance. Sorry, dear. It was a struggle, but I managed to right myself all on my own. I swayed unsteadily, but I managed it all the same. The elf didn't look too put out. He lowered his hand and took on a somewhat timid smile. First time on a ship? Yes. Wasn't it obvious? Was it common to have spent time on a ship? No one I knew had ever been on a ship, not one like this. You do seem nicer than Lacey. You seem nicer than Lacey. Oh, I should definitely hope so. Wait, what did you just call him? Lacey. You call him lazy? That's bizarre. Is it? It's not as though he was happy with it. I have no doubt. You're not hurt, are you? No, I'm fine. I tried not to panic at how relieved he looked. If you don't mind, how did you end up? Why are you so interested? I suppose I'm just concerned. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have to be so cold, but it's her character. I'm sorry, Vaden. I've got a history of sticking my nose where it doesn't belong, so if you want me to leave, you need only say it. More than anything, Lasiga being involved is enough for me to worry. Lasiga isn't someone I'd wish on my worst enemy. Stop texting me! He thinks that if someone is defenseless, they're simply at the mercy of people who are stronger, so he pushes people who can't stop him. Well, you can't really defend yourself. Then my first order of business is to learn the most effective and diverse way to kill elves. Ah, I am slightly uncomfortable. Good. At least you were warned. I haven't even... Stop texting me, I swear to God, I'm trying to play a game. I haven't even... My name is Vaden Milrose. What's your name? Oh, so you're... with Callan. Venus. Have I heard of Milrose before? Millie Rose. Well, truth to be told, returning names was currently at a low priority. But I think that was the commander's surname as well. Were they related? Well met, Venus. I'll show you to a hammock if you like. It's very crowded, but at least you'll be among women. Women are hardly any more safer than men. You say that as if I should be reassured. Ha! Not in the slightest. He showed me to the ship's hold and gave me simple directions to find a row of hammocks. The ship's innards were anything like weren't anything like I'd have imagined. I can't. That sentence. I can't do that. It was so dark and almost impossible to see anything. Oh, jeez. What did it say? Okay, it's fine. You can find it now, can't you? I really shouldn't go further, privacy and all. If you need anything, I have to get back on duty, but truly... It's so dark here and so... gaily and decorating. I believe we see better in the dark than your people do. You must. It's all just a haze. Perhaps your eyes will adjust? More than my eyes are going to need to adjust. Can you tell me something about Galia? Can you tell me more about Galia, your people? I have no idea where I'm going. He gave a heavy sigh. I can tell you that Galia is a dark place and that we don't welcome outsiders. I'm afraid things will be very difficult for you. That's not... Can you tell me something a bit more specific? Galia is a small island. We live on in one primary city, which is with very dense population, completely encircled in a fortress wall. We are known for our forces, an army that enlists more than 2/3 of our population. We are essentially mercenaries, though be mindful who you repeat that to. Most Galians don't appreciate the term. Noted. I wish I could think of how to prepare you. I don't need anything. I understand. Take care. Left alone for the first time since morning, I stared down the narrow pathway before me. Well, what I could see of it. It seemed far less busy down here, but occasionally I'd feel the movements of others around me. I eventually found the chamber Vaden had told me about. I was starting to see better. Perhaps my eyes had been adjusting after all. It didn't help that the Galians seemed intent on keeping everything in shades of black. Though it was early in the evening, the hammocks I could see were filled. The sleeping elves were, as far as I could tell, all female. I scanned the hammocks for a while, searching for an empty one. It was difficult to tell from where I stood, but I spotted one in the third row. There was also an awake elf who had been staring at me since I entered. Check the third row. I decided to move towards the third row to get a better look at the hammock I thought to be empty. Weaving in between hammocks felt like tiptoeing around sleeping beasts, and to my great dismay when I came to the third row, the hammock I thought to be empty was not. I carefully began making my way further when I heard someone snickering. I turned to the noise, somewhat against my better judgment. I couldn't figure out where the snickering had come from, but then I saw a movement off to my left. Oh my god, why are you here, Heron? Sorry. I know these names. Shh. The elf caught by my gaze shushed me, confirming any suspicions I had that he was indeed not meant to be here. Whatever, not my business. Hi, Aaron. I nodded in response. I had no interest in making yet another elf enemy. The elf smiled at me and then snuck away. After watching him leave, I spotted an empty hammock a few steps behind where the sneaking elf had been. I was left alone for the rest of the night. Those around me seemed to sleep soundly, as though theirs was a hard-earned slumber. I didn't seem to concern them. Come morning, I'd gotten little sleep. I'd spent the night lying still in my hammock, marveling at all of the things I didn't know. I couldn't stop wondering about the Cathintal and what it might do to me. The hopeful part of me had rendered the Cathintal physically in... if only it had been a day and a half and I was still fine. Got a drink. But the other parts of me, the parts of me that also recognized my situation aboard a massive ship destined for a place I'd never been, filled with people I'd never seen, would remember there must be a reason. Lacey dragged me aboard, and a reason he was sent to find the Cathintal in the first place. If nothing else, I was tangled tight in a web I could barely understand. Around the time the elves who had been sleeping when I first arrived were waking up, laying still with only my wanderings had become too much to bear. I quietly snuck out of my hammock and made my way back into the hall. The hall was busier than it had been the evening prior. The majority of the elves were moving in one specific direction, deeper into the ship's hold. Jumbled sounds of the elves speaking to each other hit me with a realization. The language was not my own. It shouldn't have come as a surprise, but it did. Perhaps it was because the elves I'd spoken to so far all knew my language, but now that I was giving it some thought, that was very strange. Go back up on deck. I decided I didn't need or really want to know what the elves were up to. To be blunt, heading deeper into the ship sounded like a terrible idea. So I made my way back to the deck. The sight of the ocean would make me feel less imprisoned. Not that I had any true hope of escape. I could swim, but not that well. The deck was just as busy as it had been before. We were out at sea, and past the ship all around all was blue. Edric. It's not even Eldrick! I thought it was Edric. It's Edric! Was long gone. The elves skittered across the deck like spiderlings and ignored me yet again whenever I got in their path. I tried to ignore them, focusing my attention on the ocean. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind indeed. I'd seen the... Oh, she's so pretty! I'd seen the ocean plenty of times before, of course, but it never seemed bigger now than it did. The whole world seemed bigger. Hello. Identify yourself. The voice approached from the side, demanding, intense. That was not a very intense voice, I'm sorry. I felt my body tense in response. Now. Words that might have been, lazy the day before. I sized up the man as best I could. His hair was certainly not typical of these elves. I chastised myself for not keeping an eye out, as I'm sure I would have seen him coming. Venus, I was forced to come aboard this ship yesterday. You're from the human town? Yes. Why were you brought abroad? That would be a question for Lazy. Who? Lazy. I felt a small smile take form on my face. Yes. And who is this Lazy? I believe he said he was a scout. A scout. Lasiga, if you prefer. The elf's expression remained concerned and a bit lost for a short time, then he lowered his weapon in defeat. And I don't need to know anymore. That was all. I watched him leave with disbelief. I noticed that some of the elves passing had been paying us some attention, their expressions mostly amused. Honestly, just stay here. Whatever was so funny, the elves went back to ignoring me after the demanding elf took his leave. I took a deep breath and looked back out of the water. What are you doing? His voice trickled down my spine. Though I'd only met him yesterday, I recognized the sound of him immediately. Lazy. Nah, actually that's a little too... Nah, not that either. I guess that. What do you want? I want to know what you're doing. I was just getting some air. Are you thinking about trying your luck at sea? What? You think I came here to jump into the ocean? You would die. We're far off the coast in deep ocean now. The closer we get to Galia, the colder the water gets. The deeper the ocean, the more violent things lurking beneath the water. I would be mindful. I couldn't help but wonder if you wanted me to try and jump into the water. I'm not going to try and swim my way home. I doubt even with the bastion you could find your way home. I'm sure you're right, and I doubt I can convince all you elves to kindly turn the ship around. I noticed Imra speaking with you earlier. Imra, the elf with the sword. It wasn't a sword. The elf with the blade pointed at me. If something like that were to happen again, tell him you've been summoned by the Onyx Chandler, or if you must, tell him to take it up with me. Why, to cut out your footwork? Nah, I'm sure you're not looking out for me. In the right light? Nah, not that. I'd rather not, just... Why, to cut out your footwork? Or to avoid getting stabbed? Stabbed? Am I really going to be threatened so regularly just for being aboard? You obviously don't belong here. And yet it is not I who is responsible for my being here. In a way, it is. And pray tell, you drank the Kifinto. But I didn't! That doesn't matter. Clamped my mouth shut. This was going nowhere. Lacey stood still and watched me in silence for a few uncomfortable seconds. I do kind of like how it fades in, this thing. And the clouds are moving. I wish it wasn't so slow, the animations, because it's like, it's kind of laggy, I guess. Because it's so well done. Oh, I love it. I should probably end the episode here too. I don't know what to choose out of this one and this one. If I just... I'm curious though, but is Venus curious? Remain silent. I had no interest in prolonging any sort of conversation with the elf though. I felt obliged to meet his gaze with all of the defiance I could muster. I'll be watching you. Lacey turned and walked away. I barely had a moment to think before I was approached by yet another. Very popular today. Hi, Hera. I think we're gonna end the episode here. I hope we will see each other in the next one. Very exciting so far. I am just so excited for this game and I'm looking so much forward to it. Hope you guys like it too. Bye.